Hello everyone, another Wednesday, another Biz Chats. Today I'm very excited about today's topic. We're going to be talking about venture capital, we're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship through acquisition, and we're going to be talking about startups with one of the youngest dragons ever, Michele Romanow. She's also the co-founder of Clearbanc, which is a digital company, a company with a mission to finance the new economy. So we're going to be chatting with her today. So I'm just going to wait for her to view in, and then I'm going to add her to the conversation here. Thanks everyone. Stand by. And there she is. All right. Here we go. Hi, Michele.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, can't complain. Another Wednesday, another Biz Chats. I'm glad you can make it.
Of course.
Perfect. Well, I know you don't have much time.
Yeah.
So I just want to get into it with you because obviously as one of the youngest dragons, your voice is important to a ton of entrepreneurs and small business owners starting out there and whatnot. So what we're going to be talking about today is a little bit of everything. So venture capital, entrepreneurship through acquisition, and startups. But if you want to just let everyone know, Clearbanc. What's that all about? I'm really interested in learning more.
Yeah, so I started Clearbanc about 2.5 years ago now, all on a journey to make it easier for entrepreneurs to get access to funding and to build a better banking experience for them. So we have a ton of customers right now that might be vacation rental hosts like Airbnbs or homeowners that want to expand their business, and we also fund a ton of different e-commerce stores. And so it's kind of using what I knew before to really, allow for entrepreneurs to access funding.
Interesting. That's amazing. Well, once again, thank you for being here. I'm going to get right into it. I have a few questions. And like I said, I know your time's limited, so I'm going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. So first question I have for you is out the gate. Do you see value in buying an existing business or franchise?
So I've seen a lot of different things. I've always started my own businesses personally, but I'm also on the board of Freshly, and I've been able to see the success of the franchise model there. I think it really depends on your personality. If you want to take a huge swing for an idea that you think needs to be built in this world, and there's nothing out there that does that, I think doing that through your own company, it's hard to beat that. I think that if you're looking for, the experience of being an entrepreneur, but with far less risk, I think, buying a business or an existing franchise is a really good idea.
So it comes down to self-awareness, I guess, right?
Yeah. You gotta
nice.
You gotta do your research, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of different people. You should be doing all of that stuff to really get the information you need to make the decision.
Got it. All right, next question here. So what are ways, in your opinion, to grow an existing business? A lot of people think, it's been established for 10, 15 years, the growth potential's gone, it's capped out. Do you think there's still, with a new, fresh, leader or entrepreneur to get into an existing business, do you always think there's always room to grow?
Well, it's a really broad question, but generally,
yes.
I think there is always room to grow, and there's always models that are disrupting the industry more than anything else. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I just wanted to make
Testing out these AirPods here.
Do you like them?
Yeah, I look silly, but they're really good. I think it's an underrated product for them.
Yeah, I like them too. So your question is there always room to grow business? The answer is
Yeah,
there's always room. Most because people actually don't want them to grow. They have a lifestyle business. I mean, there's so many different ways. If you looked at our Bytopia journey that I started with, Anatoly, it was really about, the first year we grew organically and through all of our own marketing means. We got really good at low cost customer acquisition. The next year after that, we started to grow through doing deals with national brands. So we did deals with companies that were a lot larger than us so we could attract their audiences. And then after that, we started growing by acquisition. And so, in that case, we acquired, another 10 companies in our portfolio. And so there's lots of ways to grow. They're really dependent on, what's the lowest hanging fruit at the time.
got it. All right. Well, that's a great answer. So now this could be broad as well, but if a startup isn't worthy of raising a round through a VC, do you still see it being possible for them to be sellable? So it's not worthy of a VC round, but is there potential for it to actually for them to sell to a third party?
Of course. So great businesses always have the potential to sell on just the cash flows that they generate alone. VC type of businesses are very specific. They're a small set of the economy that can produce a business that can truly grow at 100 times a year. And so it's only that model only works when you have something that scales incredibly quickly and then scales incredibly quickly through technology. There is a ton of businesses that make money. I love those businesses, whether you do you do them through a capped royalty deal or you do them through, debt financing, but there's a lot of other options. And if you build a business that's successful, you'll always have the opportunity to find a seller.
And I guess this gets into the next question. What do you think, is a I guess, a main reason or what makes a business sellable from a small business perspective? Do you think it's, strictly financials? They're showing, financial growth and that's all that matters? Or is there something else that you think?
No, I think it's the whole package of everything. It's the industry you're in, how much hype there is around the industry, how much, strategic fit there is for a buyer. Can you actually go find that buyer yourself? The next part is, do you have solid financials? Sometimes when you're a high growth company, you don't need profitability, but you do need really strong growth. You need one or the other. You need a great profitable business or you need an incredibly high growth business. And then after that, you're kind of looking, it's a dance and it's a bit of a date. And so you're looking for, if there's fit and if there's chemistry. Got it.
All right. Well, this is, midway. And once again, for everyone tuning in, thank you. Once again, this whole segment is brought to you by Michele and Clearbanc. If you want to learn more about Clearbanc, go to clearbanc.com because I think it's really interesting and cool, especially for a forward-thinking approach. But let's finish this off here. So Groupon acquired a couple of yours.
Is there a timeline on getting a sole proprietor? You can get a sole proprietor done in a day. I think this is from Ryan Elkerton. So that should be a pretty easy thing for you to do.
Thank you for addressing that.
Of course.
So yeah, next question. So you had a couple startups, I believe, that were purchased by Groupon.
Yeah.
Why do you think those acquisitions? Yes, Snap Saves and Bytopia.
So Bytopia. Why do Groupon? But that's not.
Oh, Snap. Okay, perfect. So why do you think that acquisition happened?
Why did the acquisition happen? Well, we were raising around the venture capital then. We got a lot of interest. We were on a really high growth curve as a company. We were doing 1 million downloads a week. So we had a product that was working and really growing very, very quickly. And so, that was, and then, it fit really well with what Groupon's core brand was. And the opportunities to them. And so then you start a process, you start talking to each other and you see if there is additional fit and keep going from there. The
stars aligned. That's perfect. Cool.
Well, it's the stars have to align and you have to work really hard. I mean, deals take
of course
months.
Yeah.
So they're not easy and they don't happen instantaneously, but yeah.
I agree. Now, as an existing business owner, entrepreneur that's listening in, so is buying, and I know you kind of answered this already, but is buying a business a great growth strategy? And have you ever, purchased a business to grow your, one of your existing businesses out there?
Yeah, so Bytopia has bought 10 other e-commerce players in the space. And so
wow.
We started with smaller ones, then we were the ones that acquired shop.ca. We acquired Mighty Deals in the UK. We acquired Wagjig from Twirstar in Canada. And so, we grew a lot. And so I'm just seeing this question on a scale of 1 to 10. How much did you enjoy Queens? A 10. It was amazing.
Is that where you went, Queens?
But anyway, I think, there's definitely, and the market has to be right for you to want to buy a business to grow, and the deal has to be right. You cannot overpay. There's always integration mistakes. But yeah, that's kind of how I would think about buying a business. Perfect.
And next question, what are ways that someone can finance, an acquisition?
Pardon?
Ways that someone could finance an acquisition, yeah.
You can, some deals are not, some deals you can set up as earn-out or revenue share structures. And so you buy the business today and there's, a small amount of cash up front, but then you give the other partner that you're buying the business from, a share in the business as you go forward. And then, you can often get bank financing, you can go the private equity route. Then there's a lot of more sophisticated financing metrics on how you can go out and get that. If you're looking at franchisees, typically there's already pre-negotiated rates with banks set up to do that. I see a question from Gimme360, which is an awesome company based out of Toronto. They were on Dragon's Den, and they asked what's the hurdle in starting Clearbanc. And the biggest hurdle was probably, I think all of my businesses have always been in new industries, and so you have to learn really, really quickly. I love that process of doing that, but there's also always challenges that come along with doing that. And then, I think there's no single hurdle. I mean, every day you get a series of challenges that happen, right? And so it's really about getting through those challenges.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think the best entrepreneurs can get through those challenges, and they're just, I like the whole scenario about somebody told me, it's not about the resources you have, it's about how resourceful you are to get through those hurdles and challenges. So that's awesome. Now, a couple more questions and we're almost done here. One, do you think branding and social following add a significant amount of value to a business?
So brand and social media following?
Yeah. Do you think it adds a significant amount of value to a business?
You got to be really careful, because sometimes people can get totally carried away with just brand building. And ultimately what matters and what keeps businesses alive are what your sales are and what your margins are. And if you're not focused on that and you're only focused on building a brand in the early days, I think you can get really, really caught up in having something there. It's awesome to have a brand. You need to stand out. I mean, I always say, you need to be 10 times better than your existing competitor to really start to win in the market. And so that absolutely needs to happen, and you should be building brand, but you cannot be spending all your time doing that. Your bank account doesn't get filled by likes and shares.
I agree.
By real sales. That being said, we've used a ton of Facebook marketing. We've used a ton of digital ad spend to grow our businesses, but it really needs to be focused on driving conversions.
Absolutely. I love that answer. Last question here. Do you think there's a difference between a business owner and an entrepreneur?
No, I don't think so. I think that we're all entrepreneurs, and running a business has its own series of challenges. Whether it was my very first coffee shop on the Queen's campus called the Tea Room, whether it was building a fishery from scratch, whether it was building an e-commerce company, whether it was building a couponing app, or whether it was building a bank. All of those. It doesn't matter if you're. I think it doesn't matter. You're still an entrepreneur.
Perfect.
Here. Joel from Dallas. I have a small business and a company-oriented business. What should be focusing on? What should be focusing on besides relationships? I think you want to be always focused on building as much value as you can, especially in a big company, and becoming invaluable very, very quickly. We had one more here. Oh, we had the question about when you should become a sole proprietor. I think you should probably get incorporated as quickly as possible. It costs
Agree.
you know, $200. You know, the whole structure of incorporation is designed to prevent you from having a lot of personal liability. And then I think that that's important.
I would agree with that.
Emilio, that's very nice. And those were all the questions we've had. So here's the last one. What's more important for software startups, users or revenue? So they have to grow hand in hand. I think that generally I'm very biased to wanting to build revenue right away because it ultimately gives you the traction so you can continue to grow your business. I think that users are an early indication of that, but I think if you give something away for free, it's hard to know if people will pay for it later.
Very true. Very true. We actually went through that at Bizon where we were building it off the freemium model at the beginning, and then we had to take that. I guess we had to jump that hurdle as far as, okay, let's monetize and see if people are willing to pay for it. So I agree with that. I guess that way of thinking. But I know we're approaching that time. So the way I end off all Biz Chats is a rapid fire question.
Sure.
So literally 3 questions and just answer it. The first one that comes to your mind. What was the last song you listened to on repeat?
On repeat, probably French Montana.
Nice. Okay. What was the last movie you watched, if you had time? I don't know.
Oh my goodness, I started watching Scandal, the TV show, recently, which was like a giant suck of time. So I stopped.
Thumbs up to it.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely entertaining. And then I watched The Fifth Element, which is an old movie, but a good one because I was Lilu for Halloween. So it's probably the last.
There you go. And the last one is, what is the last book you've read?
Oh, so I would recommend it to everyone. I reread the Steve Jobs biography this summer.
Oh, I love that one.
It's an amazing book. It just, you can totally see his personality from so many different places. I also read the Alibaba book in September here because I interviewed Jack Ma and Justin Trudeau together.
I saw that.
Yeah, so that was really interesting. And then I'm gonna have some Christmas reading ahead of me here, but I've been a little bit busy. But those are all great books. My one suggestion always for entrepreneurs is Persuasion by Robert Cialdini. It's just an awesome book.
Have you ever read The Everything Store?
I haven't read that book.
That's I would recommend that. It's pretty good from an operation perspective, and just to see how Amazon, the early days and where they are now.
Yeah.
But Michele, I want to really thank you for making this happen and coming together. Thanks for sharing so much insight. Yeah. I think it's great. Everyone's showing up. Everyone's engaging. Once again, I thanks to you and Clearbanc for bringing this all together. And just a reminder that we're gonna upload this on YouTube if anyone hasn't had time to look at it live, because I think the insight in this segment was amazing. And we'll be back next Wednesday with another expert guest to do another Biz Chats. And I guess my plug is, if anyone's looking to buy or sell a business, check out mybizon.com. And I think everyone should have a great week now.
Sounds good.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Michele. Have a great day. Okay.
You should just start now. There's no better time to do it. So think about your plans over Christmas. I can't wait to see what you come. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Bye, Michele.